Live from the Dr. Jerry Henderson Radio Complex, it's time for Card Guys. And now, here's your host, Anthony Schulte.
Good morning. Thank you, Michael, for the intro as always, and welcome to Card Guys Detroit Sports Talk, Season 4, Episode 10. Coming up today, Cade Cunningham competed in his first All-Star game last night, and it was a night full of debate. The Four Nations face-off has been cooking, giving us great entertainment and fun during the NHL hiatus. And with March fast approaching, we take a look at some college hoops. I'm Anthony Schulte, and joining me as always is my man, Ryan Donnelly.
Apologies if I sound a little stuffy today. I was home for a dentist appointment, and my family was sick, so if I sound a little stuffy, I do apologize. But hopefully your weekend was great. Mine was for sure. Got to see family. Got to watch NBA All-Star Weekend. Got to watch a little bit of Four Nations Face-Off. And you were talking about March, right?
Yes.
I'll make this quick, but last night I was doing homework. And I normally, when I like to watch the show when I'm doing homework, or listen to the show when I was doing homework. And I scrolled down to a random episode. One of my favorites, one of my personal favorites, the March Madness Bracket Extravaganza, where we picked every single game.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite episodes, because not only that we picked the bracket, but Juwan Howard also got fired in the same show. And I was curious. I'm like, okay, when's Selection Sunday? It's March 16th. It's the last day from spring break. So the day that we can come back and we can pick our brackets. A month from now.
That gives me time over spring break to build those graphics too.
Are you doing it again?
Segue.
I don't know if I want to do that again, but I might.
It's too much work.
I might. It looked good last time.
It did, but how did you feel after it?
Tired.
There you go. Do you want to
Fatigued.
Fair enough.
Fatigued.
But yeah, well, a month from now we will have the bracket extravaganza for March Madness.
All right, right next to me, Mr. Michael Rosenkranz.
Good to be here on a Monday. I don't have a laptop because we had some very bad problems over the weekend. My laptop crashed when I was doing a live stream for the CMU Club Hockey Network, and now my laptop will no longer turn on. So I'm going to have to run these few shows without a laptop, but I'm going to try and get it fixed on Thursday, if at all possible. But we got a great show. Let's get it.
Yes, we do. All right, so we're going to start off with our 3 stars. Ryan, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So nothing has happened since
Not
we last
much.
saw you.
Not
really
too
nothing
much.
happened. And when we see you Wednesday, absolutely nothing's happening either.
Yeah.
So we're in like a weird dud period with sports.
A weird blip in the schedule.
Yes. So, anyways, enough of that. My 3rd star, Stephanie Vaquer of NXT.
Good for her.
Yes.
Who on Saturday at Vengeance Day, she became the first ever South American WWE champion, not only in NXT, but on the main roster, too. She won the North American Championship.
When are we going to start saying NXT is main roster?
Once Evolve comes into play.
Yeah, because NXT is a damn good program. I mean, it's better than the main roster right now. I'll say it. The women's division is incredible. That Vengeance Day pay-per-view was very good. It was one of the best they've done in a while. Mm-hmm. So keep cooking, Shawn Michaels. I love that women's division.
It was really good. She defeated Fallon Henley for the women's North American Championship. She's going to be having that title for a long time in my eyes. So congratulations,
I'm a Miss
Stephanie Vaquer. Well deserved. She's so over right now.
I'm a Miss Fallon Henley with the gold. I like Fallon Henley.
I like Stephanie Vaquer too. I don't watch NXT a lot this week because there's nothing on. I might have to tune into NXT.
Yes, you will.
Anyways, my 2nd star, Tyler Hero. He won the Starry 3-point contest on Saturday, winning in the final round at 24, while Buddy Hield, who was the runner-up, had 23. All he had to do was hit another money ball, and he would have won the thing. Or 2 regular balls, but I digress. Tyler Hero, Miami Heat, one-time All-Star. He went, shout out Doug Mobley. He likes Tyler Hero.
He does.
So Tyler Hero gets my 2nd star. And my 1st star, Jamal Murray.
This is from a while ago.
This was from Wednesday. 55 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals on 55% field goal shooting, almost 50% 3-point shooting, and almost 90% from the free throw line. incredible stuff from Jamal Murray.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I really have.
Yep.
So those are my 3 stars.
All right, Michael.
So I'm going to kick off with an honorary star as well, and just like Ryan and Jamal Murray, this is from a while ago, but not as recent as Wednesday. I'm going to go with Maddie Skorupski of Oakland women's basketball, formerly of Clarkston High School.
Okay.
On February 1st against U of D Mercy, 38 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals.
Wow.
Maddie was just going off, and in the game when Oakland came here against Central Michigan, she went off for, I think, 27, 28 points. I mean, that's just the kind of player she is. She knows how to score. She'll constantly outwork you. She's got a great shot, can shoot from the range. She can shoot all over. She's such a dangerous player, and what a great performance out of Maddie. So, big shout out to Maddie for the honorary star. My 3rd star, just trying to figure out how to order these. I'm going to go with Ugnis Jurasevicius again. He had his 2nd straight 32-point, 10-rebound game. And now, granted, CMU lost Akron, and they cut it to 3. I actually went against the code of conduct, and I left the game early. Just a few seconds early. I waited till it was about 30 seconds left. Akron, I think, was up by 5 or 6 at the time, and it was out of reach. CMU cut it to 3, and they only lost by 3. It was 85-82. So
A lot of close losses.
A lot
to
of
good
close
teams.
losses to good teams. We'll talk about CMU later in the program, but Oogie gets my 3rd star. My 2nd star, Dylan Larkin of the Red Wings. In the USA's Four Nations Face-Offs game against Canada, he's the 2nd star of the game. 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 shot on goal with, I think, just over 16 minutes time on ice.
Yeah.
Outstanding. There's a reason why he's the heartbeat of this Red Wings team. Arguably one of the biggest goals of his career. Arguably. So, Dylan Larkin, outstanding to get that game-winning goal for the U.S. at Four Nations Face-Off. My 1st star, going to stick with hockey, but it's going to be CMU women's hockey. Kylie Del Rey gets my 1st star. She got another goal on senior night on Saturday, and that etched her name in history of CMU women's hockey. She's the first player in program history to reach 100 points.
Good for her. She's really good.
Kylie Del Rey is awesome. She's a fantastic player. This is more than deserving for Kylie Del Rey. So, Kylie, if you're watching this, big congratulations and a huge shout-out to you and your team. Can't wait to see what you ladies do in playoffs coming up in March. Those are my 3 stars.
There you go. I'll fly through mine real quickly here. So, 3rd star, Mac McClung. Three-peating in the the dunk contest. Jumped over a car. And
That
it
was
wasn't
insane.
It wasn't just the hood of a car. It was in the entirety of the vehicle. Jumped over it and then also went behind his back. Incredible dunk. He deserved to win it. He also had a couple really good dunks as well. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. He's been so good as a G League player that he's got Ja Morant, Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, Giannis, Zion. They all want to do this now. They're all tired of this little G Leaguer coming in and taking home the NBA prizes. So hopefully next year in the All-Star game, it's in Los Angeles, probably LeBron's last All-Star game, and you've got a sick dunk contest.
Mm-hmm.
It should be boring proof next year, but knowing the NBA All-Star game, it'll find a way to disappoint us. My 2nd star is Steph Curry for winning the All-Star game MVP. All-Star game was in Golden State or San Francisco Bay Area, and Steph Curry hit a half-court shot, just pull-up half-court 3, and then he also had a really nice shot where it was kind of like a little step back, put it up, nothing but net as he's walking away. He was feeling it for a little bit. Steph had 12 points on 4 of 8 shooting. All of them were 3-pointers. I didn't really like the the second 3-point contest of the weekend, but nonetheless, I'll get into that in a few minutes. Steph is my 2nd star. 1st star, Cade Cunningham Yeah.
Who else?
Exactly. For making his first All-Star game, representing the Detroit Pistons, in only 5 minutes. And this is the flaw I'll get to in a little bit. Only 5 minutes in the All-Star game. Kind of a shame, but he made the most of those 5 minutes. Got an assist. He got he originally got his steal, and they took it away from him for some reason. There's the NBA working their stats department for you. He got a dunk, highlight dunk. He almost posterized Wemby, and he made a 3. So, hey, he was the only player on his team, on Kenny's Young Stars, that had a plus-minus, a positive plus-minus. So, can't blame us. Can't blame us. Cade was the only positive player. But those are my 3 stars. Speaking of this All-Star game, what a disaster, to say the least. We're a little rant of the day. Anthony Schulte rant of the day.
Bringing it back again.
Bringing it back because there's so many things on my mind last night. Let's start with something that I was dealing with the whole weekend. Sports fans on social media are incredibly stupid and unbearable. I said it. I can't stand them because the football is king fans who think that football is the only sport that is good and watchable, and the hockey fans of social media do not let NBA fans live in peace. It's a continuous nag. When you're an NBA fan on social media, you are consistently told that the NBA sucks, you shouldn't watch it, football is better, hockey is better, football's the only good sport, hockey's the only good sport. It's what you're continuously told. Baseball fans don't do that. I love baseball fans. I love you guys. But to the people that think football is king, to the people that think hockey is the only good sport, and that just won't let NBA fans live. Just let us live. Let us live in our own little bubble where we enjoy the NBA and we like the sport. Just because you're miserable and you don't like the sport doesn't mean you need to make us miserable too.
You know what that's called? Bullying.
I'm not going to call
Someone
it
letting
bullying.
their miserable life on another person.
I'm not going to call it bullying because
I mean, to me, it's accurate. What else could you?
I'm not going to call it bullying.
Anyways,
I'm just going to say it's irritating. Fair enough. Yeah, I've never liked the football is king crowd. I can admit the NBA has its flaws. I can admit it has its problems. There are a you-know-what ton of problems in the NBA. Let's call a spade. But though the football is king fans say the Pro Bowl games are good. So they think their sport is perfect. The NFL is perfect. You can't fix it. A lot of problems with the NFL, too. The LeBron meme. Yeah. NFL is perfect. Okay, bud. Hockey is perfect. Okay, bud. There's problems with every sport. Anyways, that's it for that. Continuous war on social media between NBA fans and everybody else. Because that's what All-Star Weekend does. It goes from a fun weekend of just carefree basketball fun to now we're fighting for our lives trying to be an NBA fan. So, not necessarily the most fun aspect of the weekend, but it was NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll get into NBA All-Star Weekend now. Where to even begin with this new format? It sucks. I spent the entire weekend
bad
hyping it up, saying that it's good. Give it a chance. This is going to be a good format. And in theory, a target score where you are contractually obligated to care should be decent, should be better than the last couple years. And it's not on the players for being bad. You have 3 40-point games in this format, right? A total of 32 minutes of basketball were played last night. The festivities started at 8 and ended at 11.
And how many hours was the broadcast?
That's what I just said, 3 hours.
4.
3 hours of presentation for 32 minutes of actual basketball. The amount of commercials were insane. The amount of segments in and things in between the games was insane. I love the NBA on TNT Crew. They were revolutionary. They're great. They're entertainment at its finest. When it's 11-1, why are we stopping the game for 30 minutes, ruining the flow? Players don't care anymore. Why would you? You just sat for 30 minutes on the bench and watched the NBA and TNT Crew get honored when this could have happened in between a game. This is how it should have went. It should have went introductions, first game, but the game is to 60 or 70. And then in between that game, you have the Mr. Beast half-court 100K challenge. That was fun.
That was cool.
That was.
And then you have the next game to 60 or 70, however you want to put the target score. And then you have the TNT Crew honored in between those two games. And then the championship game. This is a 2-hour event, folks. 2 hours, 8 to 10. Let us have the rest of our Sunday nights. Instead, we are sitting there watching the same 5 commercials every single commercial break. There's a commercial break every 10 points, it seems. It was an absolute disgrace. Not to mention, the Kenny's young stars, all those all-stars, all those first-time all-stars, only got to play for 8 minutes compared to the 15 to 20 they would get in a normal game. You tried to fix what wasn't broke with East versus West. And it wasn't broke. East versus West worked. The Elam ending worked. East versus West, Elam ending from 2020, and it's perfect. Just do that. Everybody gets to play. It's fun. Everybody gets to be on their respective conferences. It's what everybody wants. Just bring that back, for goodness sake. Sorry.
It's Anthony, it's well said. When I tuned into this All-Star Game format, I was ready for a change. NBA fans and people who watch the NBA were waiting for this change. And it seems like while it was a change in format, nothing really changed. Nothing really changed. You have players who played a little more defense, if you want to.
I'll take it.
Call it that.
Because you don't want them to get injured. That's
No.
the thing. You don't want to get injured in the All-Star game,
Exactly.
especially when you're competing for the playoffs. So playing 100% full defense, and then all of a sudden you come down and you sprain your ankle, and now you're out for 3 weeks because you're in the All-Star game. I understand that. I understand. It makes sense. It's not like you're in hockey and you have pads.
Right.
However, the effort there could be more effort.
Yes.
Agreed.
But it wasn't on the players. It wasn't on the players this time. It was on the broadcast. It was on the format and what the NBA did, and how the festivities were drawn out and what's the word I used? Watered down. You watered down the basketball for your sponsors, your commercials, and your presentation. That's what killed it.
And that's the big thing with sports media now. You're just going to see just constant more sponsorships, more in-game advertisements.
More gambling.
More gambling. But I digress. This change in format was awful. And I don't know if I've told you this is probably going to be a hot take, but I wouldn't mind seeing the All-Star game just disappear.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't know if I would go as far as to that extent, but I mean, yes, I want there to be more effort. I get your point about the defense, but if you're not going to put in, and it's just going to be, more stuff like this down the line, 32 minutes of basketball, and then 2 hours and 27 minutes of skits, segments, and commercials, why does it matter?
I see your point. And you know what? I understand where you're coming from, why do we even have this game? Which, in reality, if they just got rid of it and just said, hey, you're an all-star, that's an award. You're an all-star, you have the all-star name, but there's just no game. I understand that, but in the same token, there's been 79 of them. Mm-hmm. Or I think that's...
We're on the 75th next year.
So 74, sorry. There's 74 of them that's been played every year. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
But there's ways you can do it in which it's good again, like the East versus West, like the Elam ending. Maybe make the games 8 minutes long per quarter. 8-minute quarters. Elam ending. It's quick. you have your two East versus West teams, and there's an exciting ending. And say the winner gets $500,000 each. Now you're playing for cash.
Yeah, like bring something to the table and make it more incentive.
East versus West, the winner gets home court advantage in the NBA Finals.
That'd be crazy.
You get home court advantage, and you go back to the format where you get 3 straight home games to start, and then it's the 2 games, or then it's the 3 games, and then it's the 1 game for Game 7. 3-3-1. Change the NBA Finals format to that, 3-3-1, and the winner gets home court advantage. 3 straight home games to start off the NBA Finals for the winner of East versus West.
See, now I wouldn't be opposed to that. But
now players are going to play because they want that home court advantage.
Exactly, but of course is Adam Silver and his front office going to do that?
The fish rots from the head.
Yeah, we said that last year with Tommy T-shirt.
Yep.
Yes, we did. Ryan, what do you got?
I mean, you two said it pretty spot on. For context, I'm a basketball fan. I love the sport of basketball, but I kind of hate I'm not like an NBA hater, but I'm starting to not like the NBA. And last night kind of proved it. This weekend kind of proved it. And I said this to Anthony last night. The All-Star game sucks. The in-season tournament sucks.
I wouldn't say that. In-season tournament was fun, and guys were competing, and it gave teams like the Pistons a chance to get some winning experience and play some meaningful ball games. So I wouldn't say the in-season tournament sucks because it has its purpose, and it's for the most part it's worked, especially for the Pistons. Look how much better we got from that in-season tournament. We played meaningful games. We built meaningful chemistry. So. I see where you're coming from with that, though. I do. I see where you're coming from. In ways it hasn't worked.
Format for some people.
In ways it hasn't worked. In ways it has.
Make it make sense, and people will like it. But I don't like it. I didn't know there was a target score, or not a target score, point differential until this year. No idea. Until the Pistons started scoring over and over on the Pacers when we were up 30. I'm like, why are we still trying? I didn't know there was a point. I didn't know the points matter until this year. They didn't explain it in the rules. But
yeah, they did.
Anyways, what they did last night was embarrassing to not only the NBA, but the sport of basketball. The NBA, out of all 4 sports leagues, out of the NBA, out of the NHL, the NFL, and the MLB, it's the most flawed league ever. And guess what they did? Didn't change anything. They just changed the All-Star game. The NBA has a crap ton of flaws. And they didn't change it, and I think the All-Star game just added another flaw to their list. Go back to East versus West, have an Elam ending, and your All-Star problem has changed. Now, you have a reffing problem on your hands.
The refs even sucked in the All-Star game. Katie got hacked on both arms, and they didn't call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I only watched this weekend. This is the first time in over 5 or 6, 7 years I actually sat down and watched the NBA All-Star Weekend. I only watched because of Cade Cunningham. That's the only reason why I actually got to watch this weekend. It was Cade. That's it. Nobody else. I mean, Cade did good in the All-Star. For all the time that Cade had, he did very good. 5 points, an assist, a dunk.
And he didn't get last place in the 3-point contest.
No, he didn't.
No,
we take
in just 5 minutes of play.
We take those, but for what Cade has done this All-Star Weekend has been pretty good.
It's been successful for him.
Successful. But here's how I would have tackled this weekend, especially Saturday. Skip the skills challenge, watch 4 Nations face off. Watch Cade in the 3-point contest, watch 4 Nations face off, and then watch the dunk contest, because I kind of like the dunk contest. And I like watching Mac McClung. He's another reason why I kind of watched. He's entertaining. I mean, Saturday night was sort of a success. It's still the classic Saturday night from the past.
The dunk it might have revitalized the dunk contest, and people
agreed.
aren't talk about that
People
enough.
don't talk about how the dunk contest got revitalized thanks to Mac McClung.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Saturday night, they should not change that at all. The only thing that they've changed was the skills challenge.
And they should go back to the old skills challenge
format. Back to the old skills challenge. But the game itself, the meat and potatoes, turned out to be a meat and potatoes from the Boston market. Meat and potatoes from the Dollar Tree.
Ugh.
The All-Star game.
Meat and potatoes from the dining hall.
Yes.
Oh! Ain't no way you just trying to get the dining...
But
I've had
all
some
touches
war
strings
stories
are
as of
quality.
late from that place.
anyways,
Uh-oh.
I'll put a button on this segment because I want to make this show short. This should be a weekend of basketball. More specifically, this should be the game of basketball. Honor the inside guys; they deserve it. They deserve all the flowers,
But not in the
but
middle.
not
of
in
the
the middle
championship
of a game. Do it, and like Anthony said, in between commercials. The Mr. Beast stuff was cool. I turned off the. I'm gonna be honest. I turned off the game after Cade Cunningham got eliminated.
And you're a better man than me.
Yeah, and even Anthony, who tried to defend the game, he went on a story last night and
I
said
couldn't do it anymore.
I can't defend this any. Even the biggest NBA fans, like Anthony Schulte, can't defend this format anymore.
He can't.
In our group chat last night, he was texting basically like, "Oh, the NBA All-Star, this is cool, this is fun."
I was trying.
And then Anthony said, and I was doing homework and I opened up my phone. The first thing I saw was, "I'm sorry for pushing this." And I'm like, finally! This format sucks, and he finally came around to it.
I mean,
think
I get
even
it. You just want to give the new format a chance, but when nothing has changed, it's like you can't really defend
Just
it
go back to
anymore.
East versus West. That's all I want to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said kind of, encapsulates kind of the problem. What you led off with. I think that kind of encapsulates the problem there. But it's very disappointing as an NBA fan. I love all the sports. I do. I love the MLB. I love following the MLB. Not the MLB, just MLB. I love watching the NFL. I love following the NFL. Not really that big of a hockey guy. I haven't really watched hockey growing up, but I've gotten a little bit into it, and I follow the Red Wings. With that said, NBA is still 1A for me. It's still 1A. And as an NBA, I'll say a very big NBA fan. I enjoy the NBA thoroughly. This was a big disappointment.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that your fans, it's turned into something that is bad. This shouldn't be something that is bad. It should just be the All-Star. It should just be they're playing for something, East versus West, Elam ending, done. The fact that the All-Star game has turned into one of the biggest reasons why people complain about NBA basketball, that's a problem in itself. And we should have given an honorary star to David Stern for how many times he's been rolling in his grave as of late.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's about all for NBA. I'm sorry you folks had to listen to all that because the NBA is not in a really great
When
state.
all eyes were on the NBA, and when there was no sports on, no Four Nations and no Daytona, all eyes were on the NBA, and they failed miserably.
Well, what do you expect when they're trying to milk 3 40-point games into 3 hours? That was a recipe for disaster, but hopefully next year there's change. Maybe LeBron's last All-Star game, good dunk contest, we will see. All right, coming up after the break, Four Nations face-off, a little bit of college hoops. Not going to want to, and so an announcement for Wednesday's show. We have a special announcement coming up as well. You're watching Card Guys Detroit Sports Talk. We'll be back right after this. Sports cards, signed jerseys, signed helmets, and more. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles is your one-stop shop for all things the hobby. Make sure to check them out down Mission Street in Mount Pleasant, right past Meyer. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles. Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Join Michael Rosenkranz,
Sports take precedence over academics.
I agree, but
Ryan Donnelly,
Corbin Burns, who is their big-ticket J13 item. Scooble is with us. Scooble's our big-ticket
Did
J1.
you just call Tarek Scooble James?
And Anthony Schulte.
I have an issue.
You have.
There is no break. It's a constant grind. It's an unbreakable cycle.
Yeah, it's...
As they navigate through the Detroit sports landscape. Live Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 a.m. on 101.1 The Beat in Mount Pleasant and at 11 a.m. on YouTube. Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk.
Welcome back, Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, and Anthony Schulte here with you on this Monday as we start yet another week. midterms are coming up real quick here.
They
We're
really
almost at
are.
the halfway point.
We are.
We're at week 6.
We are.
It's crazy.
This
That
semester
is
has flown
so
by.
crazy to
Already
think
on
about. Week 6.
episode 10 as well.
Episode
Yeah.
10, yes,
Already on
double
episode
digits.
10.
Only, I looked this up, only 6 more episodes until spring break.
Oh, boy.
Including this
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
Alrighty, well, let's get into the second half of this program. The Four Nations Face-Off. Wow, my voice killed me there. The Four Nations Face-Off has been spectacular, to say the least.
Yeah.
If the NBA wants to take notes on how in the you-know-what to do an all-star break, it's this. Because this has been phenomenal. We saw 3 fights in the span of what? 50 seconds?
9
seconds.
3
Sorry.
fights in 9 seconds.
Pardon my stupidity. 9 seconds. Even better. 3 fights in 9 seconds after Canada boos America's anthem. It's just great. These guys care. These guys are playing for their country, and it's been great. Dylan Larkin, hometown guy, you hit it in 3 stars. He got a goal, 3-1 win, U.S. over Canada. And here's a little nugget. It was the United States' first win against Canada in a best-on-best international tournament since the preliminary round of the 2010 Vancouver Olympics.
Wow.
February 21st, 2010.
So it
Almost
has been
15 years.
While.
Let's just say 50. It's been 15 years.
15 years?
So there's things at stake, things on the line. Guys are playing with a little bit of passion here, and it's good hockey too. So February 15th was the last time these teams played. Canada lost 3-1 to the USA, and then Finland beat Sweden 4-3. Here are the standings for you guys. The USA is in first place, 2-0 with 6 points. Canada is 1-1 with 2 points. Finland 1-1 with 2 points, and Sweden is 0-2 with 2 points. They got those 2 points off of overtime losses. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Because I think it's incredible, and the NBA and the NFL should take notes on what they're doing here.
That's what you should do during an All-Star week. That's exactly what you do. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm surprised Canada is 1-1. Listen to the roster, man. Anthony Cirelli.
What?
Sidney Crosby.
What?
Nathan McKinnon.
What?
Mitch Marner.
What?
Connor McDavid.
What?
Braden Point.
What?
All those names sound perfect.
And
it's
a Bloody
the
Mary.
goaltending that is bad. It's the one thing that is keeping them down. This Canada roster should be the best roster in this whole Four Nations thingamajig.
They don't got a good
They don't got a good goaltender at all.
Bennington's not good.
They got Jordan Binnington of the Blues, Aiden Hill of the Knights, and Sam Montembeault
of the Canadiens.
Yeah. Listen to this USA roster, because I'm surprised that they're keeping up. Jack Eichel.
What?
Big fan of Jack Eichel. I love him. Jack Hughes.
What?
His brother. Shout out the Hughes brothers. They all went to Michigan. Dylan Larkin.
What?
Austin Matthews.
What?
JT Miller.
What?
Matthew Tkachuk.
What?
And Brady Tkachuk.
What?
And on defense, Jake Sanderson. That's all I really.
What?
I mean, this roster, compared to all these other rosters, is the worst.
You're talking about rosters.
Yeah.
I think there's one flaw, and it's that there's only 4 countries.
Yes.
There are guys such as Nikita Kucherov, Alex Ovechkin, David Pasternak. There you go. And Leon Draisaitl. All were left out of this. All probably would have made an all-star team.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, they're sitting at home. I think that's the one problem. The one problem is that you only have four countries. What you should do is you should maybe slim down the rosters a little bit and add a few more countries in.
It's going to be 4 is fine.
It's going to be more games, but you don't want to leave guys out. And you know what? Maybe you can only do 4 countries. In all the other countries, there's just not enough players to make it competitive. And then you have to have guys sit out like this. You know what? Then add a 5th team that's just everyone else. World. Add a 5th team that's the world team. And you have everybody else that doesn't fit into one of the countries, that isn't from one of the countries, they're on that world team. Nobody should be left out. If they're an all-star caliber player, they should not be left out of the game. They should not be sitting at home. Just like, I think one thing we forgot to mention in the NBA segment, the Rising Stars team, why the heck were they there? And why are players like Devin Booker and LaMelo Ball and Ja Morant sitting on their butts at home or on vacation right now? They should be playing in the All-Star game, representing the All-Stars. And It's the same thing goes for Kucherov, Ovechkin, Pasternak, and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
the one
agree.
flaw.
Yeah.
It's been practically flawless, except for that fact right there. And I even saw when I first saw, I was like, only 4 countries? I thought
I'm surprised
There's more
that
than
there's
4
not
countries.
a Russian team.
yeah.
There's not a Russian
There's
team.
probably not
that-
enough substance to it.
Yeah.
And that's why you make just the world team. Kind of just everybody comes together from everywhere else, and you got all these big conglomerates of the big countries in hockey. Take them down. You have one common goal there. Take down everyone else and prove that the rest of the world can play hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I think these 4 nations. So is this the first year they've done it?
Yes.
This is the very first time.
They should replace this for the All-Star game.
I think they are.
I hope they do. 'Cause
I
this
hope
is-
they do.
This is genius. This is genius. You have guys who care about the game. You have guys who go out like Mike Anthony said in the intro. 3 fights in 9 seconds. They care.
Well, my
And they're
stupid self actually said 50 seconds, but yes.
But they care about their country. They're defending their country for the sport that they love. They should make this format for every sport. This should replace every All-Star game except for the MLB. But they should replace this because the NHL All-Star game had flaws before 4 nations face-off, and the NBA and NFL, they have some big flaws in their All-Star weekends and the Pro Bowl. They should do this.
You know what they should do in the Pro Bowl?
What?
AFC versus NFC. Actually, no, it's not possible. Because I was going to say AFC versus NFC, and instead of having a neutral site for the Super Bowl, you have the winner of AFC NFC. The team from that conference gets home field, but the Pro Bowl happens after the Super Bowl is already set, so that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
For the NBA, that's what you got to do.
And same, yeah.
That and cash, and the NBA players will be just
Yeah.
playing
Michael,
their
really
butts off.
quick.
Yeah, Michael.
4 Nations face-off has been absolutely incredible. And, I don't know if you guys caught this. This is sort of a makeshift, what you're seeing new in the ranking system with the point system.
Yes, it is a new point system.
It's a three-point system.
3 points
which
for a
is
win,
what
2 points for a loss, 1 point for an overtime loss.
Which is what we've talked about in the regular season in the NHL, especially when the Red Wings were snubbed out of the playoffs last year. This is what we talked about.
Was it 3 points for a win,
It's
2
3
points for an
for a win.
3 points for a win, 2 points for an overtime win,
2 points for an overtime
1
win.
point for an overtime loss, and nothing for if you lose.
Correct.
There it is.
That's correct.
There it is.
Anyways, but this is what we talked about, this new point system, the 3-point system. This is what regular season NHL needs, especially for those teams who got snubbed out of playoffs, Red Wings being one of them last year.
Well, the Red Wings kind of shot themselves in the foot.
I mean, yes, they did. I can't say that because, yes, the Red Wings did shoot themselves in the foot. But 4 Nations face-off has been incredible. I was on the phone with my mom, and I could hear my dad cracking up in the background when he was watching all of these fights, and he was just like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. Watching those fights were awesome, awesome, awesome. And both Finland versus Sweden and then Canada versus Sweden, 4-3 overtime games for both of them.
Yeah.
So now Canada plays Finland this afternoon at 1, and then U.S. plays Sweden tonight at 8, which U.S. has already clinched a spot in the championship game. So this game not too crazy for the U.S.,
So it's like
but
a Lions
they said
Niners scenario from the past
pretty
year.
much.
The
But
game
the
doesn't
U.S.
matter.
said they're not letting their foot off the gas.
I like
Good.
it.
Which, yes, I love that. And for Canada and Finland, I obviously want Finland, but it's going to be Canada. Let's be honest, this is going to be probably a repeat of what we saw this weekend. Yeah. It's going to be U.S. versus Canada in the championship game, I would imagine. Play with your foot on the gas, defend your country, and Canada, you're our friends from the North. We love you guys. Our friends from the North, but let's get something straight here. You don't boo the national anthem.
No, you do not.
You don't boo the national anthem.
Especially
And
when they tell you not
If you
to.
do, you better be able to back it up.
Agreed.
There it is.
Hey, now that our 1 o'clock got canceled, we could actually watch the Sweden-Finland game. Or the Sweden-Canada.
I will
The
probably
Canada,
be
Finland.
taking a nap.
Good.
At
I
1
will
o'clock.
probably be sleeping.
At 1 o'clock.
I don't blame you.
Hey, our 2 o'clock got canceled, so I'm actually going to watch.
Let's go.
I'm going to watch.
All right, well, 4 Nations face-off. We got 2 games today. Should be pretty good. I'll probably throw it on while I'm half asleep, dozing off, taking a nap in my bed. All right. We're going to move into some college hoops. We're marching towards madness here in the sports world. Mm-hmm. It's almost that time for basketball to become king and college basketball to take over. Right now, it is very, very, very heated in the Big Ten. You've got number 20 Michigan. They're 20-5, and they're first in the Big Ten. You've got number 11 Michigan State. They're 20-5, second in the Big Ten. It is a Michigan versus Michigan State rivalry at the top of the Big Ten. Michigan State recently losing to Indiana. Really, really bad loss for Michigan State there. They needed to win that. But Michigan recently beating, at the time, number 7 Purdue.
That's big.
Insane win, all in the same night. So
You could say that's pretty massive.
what else is massive? Low taper fade. That's for you, Tony.
Shout out to
That was for you, Tony.
I don't know what just happened.
Most people watching this program are going to be very confused, and just stay confused because it's there's a lot of context that's needed to understand.
As Anthony would say, stay on that side.
Only Tony would understand.
Yeah.
And if you know Tony, then you know. There it is. Anyways, so Michigan and Michigan State, they're heating up. CMU is kind of falling down right now. Falling to 9th in the MAC when you need to be top 8 to make it to Cleveland. Really tough loss to Akron. A lot of close losses to good teams. You got to win games like that. So we'll start with Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah, so Michigan, nobody's talking about this, but they finished last year with 8 wins under the devil. Jabeep! How beep! Sorry, I had to bleep his name.
Yeah.
Because he's the devil. Close to the devil. Dusty May turned this program upside down, or flipped this program over, and probably by the end of the year, we could triple our win total from last year with 24 wins. Are you kidding me?
Insane.
Triple the win total? Dusty May has done amazing things for this Michigan program. He has revitalized my fandom for this team as it was starting to die a little bit last year. He brought it right back. Been a Michigan fan for almost 11 years now. I'm extremely happy at the product that I've seen on the court. Vlad Golden, and we got some breaking news?
No, my McDonald's app just said $2 breakfast sandwiches. That's a good deal.
That's a very good deal.
Sorry.
Anyways,
I was shocked.
Vlad Golden, Danny Wolf, Area 51. Danny Wolf looking like a point center. I mean, you don't see that from outside of Victor Wembanyama.
The dude's insane.
You don't see that.
Mock drafted to the Pistons.
I hope we have him.
That
I would love
would be
Danny Wolf.
insane.
I've watched.
Imagine Danny Wolf on the Detroit Pistons.
Danny Wolf and Cade Cunningham on the same floor.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
anyways,
gosh.
Danny Wolf. He not only is he because he has really good handles and he's a really good shooter, but his IQ is insane, which makes sense because he was a transfer from Yale. But he's a phenomenal basketball player. Same with Vlad Golden, transfer from FAU. He's done spectacular things. Also, shout out a couple more guys: Namarni Barnett, Justice Pippen, Trey Donaldson. Trey's my guy. I love Trey Donaldson. He's been our sharpshooter basically this entire year. Shout out those guys. Those are my guys. I mean, there's more to shout out. Michigan State, they're on a slump. Shout out my family. They're all Michigan State fans. They've been on a slump. Once I feel like this week's AP poll, Michigan State's going to go down. Michigan's going to go right back up, and they're going to be where they deserve. Probably like 14th or 13th in the country.
Michigan will probably be 14. Michigan State will be 15.
I think it's going to be close in the AP poll, especially since Michigan State got the 15-0 run to win against Illinois, which was Tom Izzo's 354th Big Ten win. So
Yeah, but that was an unranked win.
It was an unranked.
It was an unranked win, and you lost to Indiana.
Right.
You had to go on a 15-0 run to come back in that game. Look, Michigan State, while they're winning games, they're finding ways to win. Good teams find ways to win for sure. Mm-hmm. But you're digging yourself a hole against these unranked teams. You can't do that. Because come March, you dig yourself a hole in March Madness, it's much harder to climb out of that hole.
I'll say this for Michigan, too. They've had lots of close wins.
Yes,
Could bite them in the butt. Last night they went by 3 to Ohio State. Ohio State, I think, was 16-10.
No, they're 15-10.
15, or now,
right around.
Now they're 15-11.
15-11. Indiana was the same record, and they beat them by 5. Wins like that, sure. You're finding ways to win games, like Anthony said.
It's not going to work in March.
But come March, Michigan will most likely be a 4th or 5th seed. they could probably be one of the worst 4th or 5th seeds in the tournament. Sure, they have 21 wins. Or 20 wins,
20.
apologies. But they could be one of the worst teams in March because they play so close with each of their opponents.
Yeah, you got to figure out ways to create separation.
That's my Michigan.
You
stuff.
do. I'll touch on Michigan State really quickly because one thing that we missed, gentlemen, they got a game Friday.
Oh, that's true.
They got a game on Friday
Michigan
night.
State, the team we hate.
There you go. At the Chrysler Center, by the way.
Ooh, that's tempting.
Michigan State at the Chrysler Center on Friday.
Ooh, I'm checking.
I'm
CP.
checking. I was doing the same thing.
CP.
Now we're checking the StubHubs over here.
I gotta
That could be
inquire.
a
I gotta inquire.
fantastic game.
Never mind. Nope, not all right. Moving on.
Let me check.
Oh no, Anthony's moving on,
Moving
so I'll
on.
start talking.
ahead.
Michigan State is going to be an incredible game. I'm more of a Michigan fan than a Michigan State fan. I
job.
do watch both teams. And I've grown over the years. I've had a soft spot for MSU basketball over the years.
Oh my gosh, no,
They're a
thank you.
good team, but let's just get something real here. If Tom Izzo rolls out Carson Cooper at all in this game, who is the worst basketball player on the planet, you're not winning against Michigan. Michigan has every reason to come into the Chrysler Center confident, but now you don't want to get too overconfident because that's some of the arrogance that I have with Michigan fans. If they get too overconfident, it's going to bite them in the butt.
Michigan State's a good basketball team.
They're a good basketball
It's coached by
team.
Tom Izzo. They have
A
talent,
legend.
and they've been a top 10 team the entire
I
season.
have one of my favorite players in the country on that team, Cohen Carr.
Yeah, so
Cohen Carr,
as
though,
much
also.
as I might not like Michigan State, I'm not letting it blind me to the fact that they're a good team. I can admit when I see a good basketball team, they're a good basketball team. Doesn't mean I want them to win though.
No, I love Michigan. I've never liked Michigan State, the college or the football team, but I dang love their basketball team. I have a love and respect for Tom Izzo. They always get good recruits. Michigan State was probably going to go pretty deep in the tournament this year, I think.
I would say that they'll probably go pretty deep. And Tom Izzo, again, getting Big Ten win number 354 yesterday, the most in history, passing the great Bob Knight. So big shout out to Tom Izzo with that. He's just cemented such a Hall of Fame career at Michigan State. That's going to be a fun game on Friday.
Yes,
now turning to CMU really quickly. Close loss to Akron. You fall to 9th in the Mid-American Conference. Not ideal. You're trying to get to Cleveland back-to-back years. But now, these teams that you play going forward, you have to win.
There's no more wiggle room.
Tomorrow, exactly, Anthony, there's no more wiggle room. You have very little margin for error. Tomorrow they play at Ohio in Athens. Got to win that one. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they go to KZoo to take on Western.
You'll win.
Got to win that one.
Gotta win that.
Which Western, I think, is bottom of the barrel. But again, you don't take any team for granted.
Yeah, Western's
but
always
Close
bottom
against
of the barrel.
Miami of Ohio.
Look, Ohio's
they
a good
were.
basketball team. They're a good basketball team.
yes, they are. They're, I think,
And at home,
fifth
they're
in the
9-2.
Yeah, so they've had
At
an
home, they're 9-2.
outstanding home record.
So you have a test. You have a test with Ohio. You truly do. You
and
have a
then
test.
you play against Buffalo, I want to say.
And you lost to Buffalo on the road.
Yeah,
That's a game you want to get back. Buffalo sucks.
yeah, Buffalo's not good. You
Same
play
with
against
NIU.
Eastern at their place. Then you play against Ball State, and then you play against NIU. You have to win a majority of these games.
You can
if
afford to
wanna
lose
get
one
back.
game.
Yeah,
You can
I'd
afford to
say
lose
you can
one
only
game.
afford to lose one game.
And you want to beat Ohio because if that one game you lose is Ball State, you're pretty much golden.
Pretty much. That would be the ideal situation. But for CMU, yeah, you can only afford to lose one game. You're trying to get to Cleveland back-to-back years. It's going to be very tough. I hope this team can do it. But you're going to need some help along the way as well.
Yes, you are. All right.
I'll make this really quick.
Very
Most
quick.
of the CMU, the teams that they play for the rest of the year are in their wheelhouse or around their area when it comes to standings in the conference. They're the best team they have to play is Ohio, which is 5th in the conference. So, I mean, I trust Tony Barbie. I love Tony Barbie. I think he can do it. I think we can do it. The fact is, you can afford a loss. You have to go 5-1 though if you want to at least make an attempt to make Cleveland. if you want to make the tournament back-to-back years. This team has some good pieces. They have some good teams. They know what it takes to beat the big guys like Miami, Ohio, and Akron and Toledo. You just got to beat them.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, CMU, they play tomorrow. We have Michigan State on Friday. We have some breaking news.
Oh.
WWE officially announces that John Cena will be competing on 3 straight Monday Night Raws going into WrestleMania.
So,
March 17th, 24th, and 31st.
Good.
Nice.
And those are all international.
Yes, they are.
Good.
They're all on at 3 o'clock Eastern time.
Which makes sense because he can go back and forth from country to country to film his movie.
Mm-hmm. So they're all going to be on at 3 o'clock Eastern time, so it'll be right after class for us.
Yes.
There you go.
Anyways, all right. So, a little housekeeping to take care of. We have an announcement for Wednesday's show. Mm-hmm. Wednesday's show, we are welcoming back a friend of the program, a special guest. He travels around the country covering the Detroit basketball Pistons, Mr. Omari Sankofa II.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, Omari.
He will be joining the program Wednesday for a few minutes to talk Detroit Pistons. What's gone on in the season so far, what to expect of the season as we close out and head, can't believe I'm saying this, into the playoffs. We had 60 to 61 days until the NBA playoffs start, gentlemen.
Insane.
3 months. Or 2 months, sorry. 2 months.
40 more days till Tigers opening day.
There it is. So Detroit sports are ramping up as well. All right, well, that's all we have for today's show. Thank you for tuning in to Card Guys, Season 4, Episode 10, on 101.1 The Beat and YouTube. Tune in Wednesday, as we mentioned, to welcome our friend Omari Sankofa back onto the show, previewing the Detroit Pistons season. The rest of the Detroit Pistons season. For my good buddies, Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, I'm Anthony Schulte saying, so long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad. It was great to see you this weekend.
If you smell